everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the different types of triangles. Normally in school, you just get told the three different types, and I've laid them out, and I'm going to explain them. But normally they're just explained to you, and you just have to accept those are the types. But today I hope to convince you that these are the only types, and why these are the only types, because I think that's really important. First of all, some housekeeping. I just need to tell you that these points, we don't call them points in a triangle, we call them vertices. And these lines we call edges. Now, in a triangle, there are how many degrees? There are 180 degrees. Now, I'm going to do a video on why that is, but all you need to know is, if you go all the way around a circle, we've named that 360 degrees. And there is a reason that we've named it 360. It could have been 100 degrees, it could have been 50 degrees, but we named it 360. And all you need to know is if you only go a quarter of that way, so if you only go one out of these four boxes, you only go 90 degrees, because 90 plus 90 plus 90 plus 90 gives me my 360. Alright? So, if we're going to talk about the different types of triangles, we better decide how we make a triangle. Now, over here, what I've looked at is I've got a triangle, but I also have a triangle here that I'm going to make. And I've already drawn in an edge and two vertices. Because if you look at this triangle here, if I tilt it until it goes completely straight up the wall, I can make it so that this edge is exactly like this one over here. It might not be the same height, but it's in the same orientation. So any triangle you draw, I can draw on here if I start with these two vertices in my edge, and then on the right, I draw another vertex. So another point. So if I draw another point on this black line, what you'll find is, just like here where I've drawn this box, which means 90 degrees, this angle is 90 degrees. Now that's really useful, because we call that a right angled triangle, when an angle in the triangle is 90 degrees. Now only one of them can be 90 degrees, because these other two have to make up the other 90 degrees to make our 180. Alright, so only one is 90 degrees, and it looks like this, with that one there being the 90 degree. Now, another type, if I draw my third vertex on this black line, or on this black line, I'm going to get a right angled triangle. But if I go anywhere below the floor, or anywhere above the highest part of this, you can imagine this to be a wall, then I'm going to make a obtuse triangle. And you can have a go and guess at what this, how we define or how we look at an obtuse triangle. But all it means is one of the angles isn't just 90 degrees, but it's more than 90 degrees. So an angle is more than 90 degrees. It's larger than 90 degrees. And it looks like that right angle like we just did, but instead I go a bit longer. So that angle is more than 90 degrees. So it looks like that. Now, can you have a triangle that has two angles that are more than 90 degrees? Well, no, because if two of the angles are more than 90 degrees, then I've gone over my 180 degree limit. So that can't happen. Alright? So either my triangle has 90 degrees, it has more than 90 degrees, one of them, or all of the angles are less than 90 degrees. If I look at my right angle triangle, these obviously have to be less than the remaining 90 degrees. But if this angle here was less than if that third angle was less than 90 degrees, I would get my third type, which is an acute triangle. All angles are less than 90 degrees. And that looks like exactly how we started, but it looks like kind of a flag. And it doesn't always look like that, but it can. Where this angle here is less than, this one's less than 90 degrees, and this one's less than 90 degrees. Alright? All angles are less than 90 degrees. And so for an example, if I put my third vertex out there, then we know this is less than 90 degrees. So the symbol that we're going to use looks just like that, and it means less than. And this one means greater than. So this one's less than 90 degrees because the blue part is less than that big black part, that big black square. Just like over here, this blue part is less than that big black part. Now, over here, if I drew along this, if I pretended that I was on the ground over here, then this here would be 90 degrees. But you can see that this angle, this blue part, is less than that red part. So it's less than 90 degrees. This angle here. So in this triangle, all three are less than 90 degrees, and I get what's called an acute triangle. Now, I just want to convince you, these are the only three types, and they all exist. I've showed you examples of all of them. The blue one is the acute, the red one is the obtuse, and the black one up here is a right angle triangle. So they all exist, and one of the most important things is that you can see why these are the only ones. Right angles are when one of the angles is 90. Obtuse is when one of them is greater than 90. And acute is when all of them are less than 90. There are no other options. There's no triangle where more than one angle is more than 90. There's no triangle where more than one angle is equal to 90. And there's no other triangle that don't fit these three categories. Alright? And I want you to convince yourself of that. So, all I want to know now is, if I draw any point below the floor, it's going to be obtuse, because this angle that I'm creating is going to have to be more than that starting black part. So, any of these red points I'm drawing are going to, when I join the sides, it's going to be an obtuse triangle. If I draw any of the lines, points on this black line, I'm going to get a right angle triangle, because that angle is going to be right angled. But if I draw any point, and I'm just going to erase these middle parts, if I draw any point in this region here, I will get an acute triangle, except, now this is interesting, and this is what part 2 is going to be about. If I actually drew a point down here, then just like before, these angles here are going to be less than 90. But this angle here, if I draw my handy square, this red part, that third angle, is bigger than that black square. So I actually get this third part being, this angle here, is greater than 90 degrees. And so that's an obtuse triangle. So not only whenever I put points below the floor or above the highest part, I get an obtuse triangle, but also if I put the points somewhere here or maybe even here, I'll get an obtuse triangle, and I also get an obtuse triangle. But when do I get acute and when do I get obtuse? That's what I'm going to answer next week. And I hope that you have a look at it and try and figure out when you get obtuse, when you get acute, and can you get a right angle triangle by putting the point somewhere in this region here, somewhere in between, not on the line. Can we figure it out? I'll leave that up to you. I hope you had a good time.